And hopefully this one works, because last week Pepper Zoom dumped my video before I could get it off the computer.
It was really choppy last week, hey?
I think it's because it was an update. As soon as we finished, it said update Zoom, and I hit update, and after the update, everything was gone.
Oh, right.
Is it better if I mute my video while we're doing it, or is it fine usually unmuted?
It's fine usually, unless you're going to be extra noisy. Anyhow, we're here cooking with Sprite. Ramen noodles tonight. Sprite, take it away.
All right, so this is kind of like my one pot meal, but it's still like healthy because there's, you know, a ton of veggies and meat and just, you know, it fits all the food groups, important ones. So what I first do is I'll add in to my pot my spices. So I have cayenne pepper, chili powder, and cumin, and then salt and pepper. And depending on how, I usually do approximately a teaspoon of each. With the salt I do a little bit less, and then because later at the very end I often add just a very little bit of salt to finish it.
So if I'm making 4 servings of this, would I do 4 teaspoons?
No, I mean you would probably do about 2.5, 3.
Okay.
It all depends on like how kind of spicy you like it, or so if you like it more spicy, I would add a little bit more chili powder. Less spicy, not as much.
Okay.
I kind of go quite I go conservatively on the spice, just because too much and I'm dying. And Gymkhana, you're gonna want like a pot.
Yep, got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
I saw
you just can't see it in the video.
I saw you moving around a pan, so I'm just like, oh.
Oh, that's for cooking the meat.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. Should I have already pre-cooked the meat, or is that something that
that's what I make a big batch of pre-cooked. I make a batch of ground beef, and then I use it in the ramen and other dishes throughout the few days that it's good. So I'd get the meat I'd get the meat started now, just so it's ready to kind of throw in. And for the meat, you just want to put a little bit of olive oil. That's what I do on the base of the pan, and then you can add in some chili powder or just salt and pepper. Yeah.
Sorry. Are we adding the broth to the spices?
Yeah. I was just letting everyone get caught up. So then after I put my spices and my I add my broth. And I like to do half and half of veggie and chicken, but depending on what you have on hand, it can either just be beef, chicken, or veggie.
Can you just take a break? And then I'm gonna need what, like about 8 cups then?
No, no, I would do the whole pack. Depends on, so how I do it is, if you can see my pot, I kind of fill it up to about there. So not, I fill it up to about there.
But Pepper's got 4 people to feed.
Yeah.
So you want to fill the pot about halfway.
Okay.
Are we turning on heat yet?
Yes.
What do we want? Medium?
Yeah, I'll turn it up to medium, and I'll let that start going. And as soon as I'll then add in my ginger, and I'll add in my shallots, my chopped up shallots.
So how much ginger generally do you use, and do you chop it up? How do you chop it up?
I chop it up quite finely.
Okay.
I like a lot of ginger, so I put about 2 tablespoons in it.
Okay.
So a good hefty portion of ginger.
Okay.
If you don't like ginger as much as I do, you don't have to use as much ginger.
I like ginger. I eat ginger. I go through a lot of ginger every day.
Mm-hmm. I like to use the raw ginger. It works for me. It has the best flavor.
Yeah.
But if you only have the ground powdered ginger, that works too.
Okay.
So now I'm adding in the ginger, and I'm adding in my shallots. And I only use 1 shallot for me, but for if you're doing, say, 4 people or 3 people, I would do either like 2 fairly good big size shallots or 3 smaller shallots.
And do you mince your shallots, or how do you prepare them?
How I prepare them is just kind of finely chopping them like this.
Okay.
I just slice them.
Okay.
I apologize, I'm a step behind. How much
That's okay.
cooking like beef broth do you put in?
How many people are you making it for? 2?
Yeah.
So about a cup.
A cup per person.
1.5 to 2 cups.
Okay.
Don't worry, Jim Cata, I'm still cutting shallots, so
Perfect.
you're not.
I pre-cut my shallots because every time I cut onions or shallots, my eyes are really sensitive to it, and I just start like
That
crying.
should be part of the show. I think that would make the show more compelling. People would connect better.
Generally, my shallots are always a little bit like, my knife cuts are quite wonky when it comes to shallots or onions, because half the time I spend cutting them, my eyes are closed. So probably not the safest thing, but
You got to try DK's scuba gear. That seems to work, or a snorkeling mask.
yeah. After I pour my ginger and shallots, I'm gonna turn up my heat to high.
Okay. are you chopping now, Sprite?
I'm just chopping up my broccoli. So usually in between the when I'm waiting for it to boil, come to a rolling boil, I'll start chopping broccoli, celery, any kind of veggies.
Okay, on it.
And every now and again, give the broth and shallots and ginger a little bit of a stir, just so the spices don't get stuck to the bottom. Is any of your stock and spices come to a boil yet?
Yeah.
No, I just turned mine on.
Okay. We shall.
I'm still chopping vegetables.
Yeah, I'm chopping my ginger and shallots.
Okay. For you ever don't have you turned on your heat yet?
Yeah.
I would either turn it on very low or just so it doesn't your stock doesn't reduce too much.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, so after it's come to a boil, now I'm gonna add my noodles into the bowl.
You add the noodles before any of the vegetables?
I do because I like that kind of I like a crunchy vegetable, so I don't if you want your vegetables to be cooked like pretty quite soft, then I'll add them in sooner.
Okay.
I don't add the steps go usually is I don't add all my veggies all at once. So if I'm doing carrots in it, I'll add those in before.
Okay.
And then after you throw your noodles in, just turn down the heat slightly. Give it a bit of a stir. Yeah. Once your noodles are looking just a little bit soft, I'll then add my celery into it. Or any other my harder veggies. So the broccoli I'll save for very last. Want to kind of break up the noodles as best you can. Now I'm adding my broccoli. And the rest of the veggies that I have. If I have any like softer veggies that I'm using as well. Sometimes by this point, the noodles will absorb most of the liquids. If you need to add a little bit extra liquid, and now I'll also add my meat. And as soon as my meat kind of warms up, I can see that my noodles are already kind of quite soft. as soon as my meat kind of absorbs the flavor and warms up a bit, I'll give it a taste of how good the noodles are. I'll also turn up my heat a little bit to kind of really get the meat hot. Now I've just turned my heat off because my noodles are cooked, and I'll just let it sit on the burner for a second or two.
I'm a bit behind. So once your noodles go in, you want it to reach a boil and then turn your temperature down a bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And now I'm moving my noodles off the burner because they're all done. It's a pretty quick dish when you only have a few noodles. When you have a bigger portion, it'll take a bit longer. Jimkata, how are you doing?
Good. I konjac noodles, so I don't need to cook them for very long. So I just have my vegetables, and they're starting to boil, and yeah. So once they're soft, then I'll add the meat. Were you gonna say something?
Oh no, I would just give them if you're worried about overcooking, or I just give them a little taste to see if they're kind of the crunchiness that you like. I don't cook my veggies that long. It's pretty quick, just because I really like when they're quite solid. Corey, how is it turning out for you?
Good. My noodles aren't quite there yet. They're close.
That's a good idea with the konjac noodles.
Yeah, Mark is celiac, so we're trying. We don't usually have noodles, so we're trying it out. I think I've had it once before. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how it is.
Yeah.
And Pepper, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm just adding my veggies now.
Okay, good. Yeah, the nice thing about this is it's really easy to kind of adapt, so you can change it up, but it's still technically the same thing you're having every night, but it can be very different every night.
This looks so good.
To be honest, it was just kind of experiment at first, and then it adapted into this. I think it started off as like chicken noodle soup.
Mine is real spicy. Maybe got a little excited with the spices. That's okay.
You like spice?
Yeah, a little bit. It'll be perfect.
if you're all finished with for like garnish or at the top, you can put some green onions on. Oh,
I garnished with some fresh basil.
very nice.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Now I'm gonna go serve my son. I'll be right back.
All right.
Good. All right. There's more if you need more, Kevin. I know we're still here. You want me to get water? I'll pass the water.
Yeah. If you're ever going to Costco when it's not crazy, you can get just the blocks of the noodles there, and they're a good they're a good price.
It's not too bad there. We went Thursday. We went at opening at 9 a.m. And
Oh.
so the doors weren't open, so there was a lineup. But as soon as we got to the lineup, it started to move, and it just moved continuously till we got in the store. And when you got in the store, it was empty.
Oh wow!
So it was probably our fastest Costco trip yet.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually when I go, because I don't go very often, I'll go with my mom. So I'm basically her Sherpa, because I carry all the my bags back. But it's a trade-off. I use her membership, and so what I do is I just kind of stock up on the bags.
Oh, wait, come here. Look at this. Oh, wait. Dinner.
How are the noodles coming along? Are they kind of?
I think I'm done.
Oh, okay. Cool. And Gymkhana, how is yours looking?
Good. I'm just mixing it around, and then I'll be good.
All right.
I'm ready to
We'll
go.
be a taste test.
Mmm. Tasty.
I used to try to eat these with chopsticks, and let's just say I switched to forks or a spoon. Okay.
Yeah, this looks awesome.
Great. I embody the spirit of a college student who lives off of ramen. But the funny thing was, actually, when I was at Costco one day, I think this was like right before the whole big everything got shut down, and so I was at Costco and I was in the lineup going through, and the cashier saw all my bags of ramen, because also my mom got a couple of bags for herself, and he looks at me, because I was paying for the bill, and says, "So I'm guessing all the ramen is you, right?" How did you know? You just look like a person that would live off of ramen. Like, oh, great.